Good morning, guys. So today is the last day that we're going to be talking about weather. And so we're going to read a book that's all about weather, and it's going to go back and really look at those weather words and what they mean. So those are vocabulary words that we're going to need to know, okay? And this is written by Gail Gibbons. And Gail Gibbons is a very popular child author. And what she does is she writes, even though she draws pictures, illustrations, she writes really good nonfiction books for children, okay? So she wants you to learn all about certain things. So there are going to be lots of vocabulary words in here. And then after we're done, you're going to be matching and trying to match in some pictures to the vocabulary word, okay? So weather words and what they mean by Gail Gibbons. It says, look, it's sunny. I need my boots. It's raining. It's beginning to snow. The weather forecast is fair today. It sure is hot and humid. So those vocabulary words are going to be in all capital letters, okay? The weather changes from day to day. Weather words explain what the weather is like outside. Here's a very important one that we've talked about, temperature. The weather is made up of temperature, air pressure, and how much moisture is in the air. Remember, that's how we kind of feel how much that water vapor is in there and how fast the wind is moving. The position of the sun is what causes the temperature changing. And we talked about this. When the sun gets high in the sky in the middle of the day, it's going to be really warm. But then at night, the temperature is going to go down because you're not getting all those light rays and that heat energy. Then air pressure. Air pressure is the force produced by the weight of the air pressing down on the earth. So remember we said sometimes we can really feel that air pressure, it's really thick, and other times it's lighter. Moisture. Moisture is that in the air comes from water that, what's that word? Evaporates. Very good, evaporation, mostly from the oceans. Because remember, a lot of times those sun rays are hitting right on top of the ocean and it's bringing it up, and then those clouds move from different places and take moisture different places. Wind. Wind is air in motion. Temperature. The temperature goes up and down. When the sun rises in the morning, the air temperature becomes warmer and the temperature goes up. When the sun sets, the air becomes cooler and the temperature goes down. Very good. The temperature also changes with the seasons. In the summer, the sun is high in the sky. The days are warm and longer. In the winter, the sun is low in the sky and the days are cold and shorter. Air pressure. High air pressure is when air particles are close together. The air is usually cool and dry. High air pressure often brings fair weather. Remember, fair is pretty good. Low pressure is when the air particles are farther apart. The air is usually warm and moist. Low pressure also brings bad weather. Moisture. The amount of moisture in the air is called humidity. That's why we say it's humid outside. It feels like there's a lot of moisture in the air. Warm air has more moisture in it than cold air. At night, when the air cools down, it can't hold as much moisture. The moisture that forms in the ground is called dew. That's why if you walk out in the morning, your feet might get wet. It's because the air had all that moisture in it, and then it cooled down and it couldn't hold all of it, so it just shows up as dew. If the temperature goes below freezing, the dew freezes and it's called frost. Moisture makes clouds too. When water evaporates from rivers, lakes, and oceans, it is called vapor. It moves up with the warm air and forms little drops of water or ice crystals. A cloud is formed. Remember, we call that evaporation is when it goes up and it forms that cloud. It's called condensation when it cools down and forms the cloud. Clouds come in all shapes and sizes. There are three main kinds of clouds. Remember, we learned about this last week. You've got cumulus clouds. Remember, they're puffy. They are fair weather clouds. That means pretty good weather. This is partly sunny. Now, remember, though, if those cumulus clouds gets dark and turn into cumulonimbus clouds, then they're going to be our bad weather clouds. And then over here, we've got partly cloudy. Cirrus clouds are the highest. They are mean for fair weather too. Remember, they're really high and they're just kind of thin. Cloudy. Stratus clouds are low gray clouds. Sometimes they bring rain or snow. There are other kinds of clouds with long names. They're combinations of cumulus, cirrus, and stratus. So cirrocumulus are clouds that usually mean weather changing. So they're high up in the cloud or the sky, but they're fluffy like a cumulus cloud. Cumulostratus clouds often bring rain, so they're kind of wispy but high. Nimbostratus clouds bring rain or snow. Altostratus clouds also bring rain or snow. Stratocumulus clouds usually bring winter weather. And altocumulus clouds can bring showers or snow flurries. Sometimes the sun shines through them. But besides the three main types, one of the ones that we recognize the most is that cumulonimbus cloud, which are thunderstorm clouds. A cloud that is close to the Earth's surface is called fog. Very good. Rain forms inside rain clouds. The water vapor that evaporates from below forms tiny water drops. The tiny drops come together and become bigger drops. When they are heavy enough, they fall as rain. Rain comes down in different ways. A drizzle is when raindrops are very small. A shower is just a brief, so it's short rainfall. A normal rain lasts longer, and then a rainstorm is when there are strong winds and lots of rain. Sometimes there are floods when it rains for a long time, or when it rains really hard and really fast for a short period of time. Thunderstorm. Thunderstorms are scary. Lots of tiny water droplets whip around inside the cloud at very high speed. When they rub and bump against each other, they make electricity. When it's enough electricity builds up, it bursts through the cloud and flashes. This is called lightning. Lightning is very hot. It heats the air around it. The hot air expands and makes a boom. So that lightning going really fast and heating the air around it is what makes that thunder. So thunder is just a sound from lightning. Everyone loves looking at a rainbow. This may happen while it is raining or just after the rain stops. When sunbeams shine through drops of rain, the light breaks up into 7 colors and a rainbow appears. Sometimes in the winter it snows. Snow crystals form when water freezes inside the clouds. When the snow crystals join together, they make snowflakes. When they are heavy enough, they fall down. Snow falls to the earth in different ways. So we have flurries. Flurries are just when it's really snowing lightly. Sleet is snow that melts and refreezes before it hits the ground. So it starts off with snow, it comes down, and like unfreezes, and then it freezes again, so it makes sleet. Snow is just a normal snowfall. A snowstorm is when a lot of snow falls and it can be windy, and then a blizzard is a very heavy snowstorm. The snow becomes deeper and deeper and the winds howl, so it's very high winds too. Sometimes it hails. I know some of you guys have questions about hail. Inside the cloud, ice crystals are tossed up and down. Water vapor freezes onto the ice crystal in layers. So when it's going really fast, it's going to get layer after layer of hail. When they become heavy enough, they fall as hailstones. Wind. Wind happens when warm air moves up and cooler air replaces it. Warm and cool temperatures affect the wind speed and direction. Wind direction is where the wind is coming from. So here's some words you might hear. You might say it's gusty when it's windy. It's breezy is another word you can say. When wind blows with more and more force, a windstorm can develop. There are many kinds of windstorm, and they can cause damage. So a gale is a strong windstorm. Those are those straight line winds, just really strong winds. A hurricane, which we talked about, is that spiral-shaped windstorm that occurs in the tropics. Remember, it needs to be over water to build power. And then a tornado is a funnel-shaped windstorm that twists as hot air spins upwards. The many combinations of temperature and air pressure and moisture and wind create different types of weather conditions. A big area of weather that is the same is called an air mass. The boundary between two air masses is called a front. The boundary is where the weather changes. So when those two air masses comes together, we get a front. That's when we usually get storms or the temperature drops all of a sudden. The weather is hardly the same from day to day. That is why it's so interesting. So like over here, and especially in Oklahoma, this happens. It says, let's go swimming. It's hot. But the next day it might be it's cold outside. All right, and then we just have some fun facts about weather. So the driest place in the world is a desert in Chile. It hasn't rained for over 400 years, so it's so dry. A number of years ago in France, a tornado crossed a pond and sucked up everything. At the place where the tornado stopped, the people had a surprise, rainfalls of fish and frogs. So where the tornado stopped, it dropped all those fish and frogs. It says there is enough electricity in one flash of lightning, it could light your house for a whole year. So it is full of electricity. And it rains more days each year in Hawaii than any other place in the world. There it rains about 350 days a year. There's only about 365 days a year, so that's most of them. And the coldest recorded temperature on Earth is in Antarctica. It was negative 126 degrees, so very cold. The hottest temperature on Earth has been in northern Africa, and it was 136 degrees. So both of those temperatures would be very, very dangerous for people. It says sound travels at 1,088 feet per second. If you are 1 mile away from lightning, it'll take about 5 seconds for the sound of thunder to reach you. So the speed of light is so much faster than sound. It's believed that no two snowflakes are the same, and the highest wind speed ever recorded was 231 miles per hour in 1934. Okay, and it says, remember, when you hear a weather forecast that gives storm warnings, pay attention and be careful. All right, guys, so what we're going to do now is we're going to connect over to Seesaw, and we're going to do a matching activity where you're going to look at a picture, and I want you to try to put the vocabulary on top of that word, okay? So let me go ahead and show you what we're going to do. All right, guys, so what you're going to see are just some of the pictures from some of the weather that we saw in the book. All you have to do is you're just going to use the move tool, and for example, this word says, let's sound it out, tornado. So I would just go and put tornado either below or on top of the picture, okay? And then this one we have snow. So all you're going to do is just match the weather words, the vocabulary words to the picture that represents that word, okay? All right, great job, guys. Thank you.